Hey, here we go. Check this out.
This is Whole Nother Level with Dwayne Lindo.
You know, frankly, I feel that we shouldn't even be talking about this. Simple as that.
The great L. Bushman.
They'd have to make so many adjustments, but I don't know what they have to do. They need a miracle. They need a miracle.
Frank Mazzei.
Did they win the offseason in free agency? Yes. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Craig Cousins.
How can you not put Tom Brady number one on the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks? Man, this guy's a legend. Rings speak.
And Derek Wilson.
I didn't know Eric was going to let you talk.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. I've seen enough Facebook posts to know that you're not a Giants fan. Let's go. And welcome, everyone, to another edition of Whole Nother Level right here at Co-Work, Florida. This is your man, Eric, alongside the great L. Bushman. How was your Christmas, my friend? How are you?
It was pretty good. Pretty low-key, as a matter of fact, for this year.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm single. I was single for this year for Christmas.
Ah, okay.
So we won't get into that. But
right.
It was kind of different, kind of weird.
All right, well. It was, it's one of those things that'll get better. Trust me, the new year is coming, so onward and upward, as they say. But this is Whole Nother Level. I am going to be on Facebook Live for a little bit today, so y'all can check out my new Eagles hat that I got. Hey, Merry Christmas to me. Thank you very much. But anyhow, we do this every Tuesday here at Co-Work, Florida in Lakewood Ranch. Shout out to KP for letting us come and do this every week. But, man, we got a lot to talk about today. Surprisingly enough, it is just going to be you and I tonight. Everybody else is taking the Christmas break off, so, we're going to hold it down for everybody. But great L. Bushman, yes. We saw it earlier today, man, so I got to ask you, how are you feeling about the firing of one Rex and Rob Ryan? More importantly, Tyrod Taylor got benched for the last game on Sunday against the Jets.
That, to me, was kind of an interesting move, and they're going with E.J. Manuel to start this week.
Uh-huh.
But, you look at it this way, the Bills really have nothing to play for.
Well, neither do the Jets.
So, speaking of Rex, Ryan, it was a long time coming.
You really think so? It's only 2 seasons, and he finished 15-16. For all we know, he could have finished 16-16. He could have still been a 500 team.
Well, I look at it this way, and this is going back from when he was the coach with the Jets.
Okay.
He got him to 2 AFC championships in a row, and then all of a sudden it was downhill from there.
Yeah, very true.
He even said it himself last year when taking this job, or the year before last. This is his last shot, he thinks, as a head coach.
All right.
So, to him, to me, I don't think this is his last shot being a coach, just not a head coach. Because as a defensive coordinator, that's a guy you want to go after.
Yeah, but his brother, well,
no. His brother was a defensive assistant coach.
Okay.
So if I'm Rex Ryan and I know I was fired today along with my brother, because remember when he got hired. And you knew when Rob got fired from the Saints, you knew his brother was going to be like, I got you, bro.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Was it a shocker to me, him getting fired today? No. Going forward, I think he has 2 options. Honestly, I think there's going to be a lot of teams looking at him as a defensive coordinator or some kind of defensive coach, because him as a DC or any kind of defense, he's a great coach because guys want to play for him. Rob's going to have a bit of a tougher time getting a job. But Rex, on the other hand, I can see him getting a job pretty quick, as some teams will need it next year going in. But you never know. He might take a year off. He might be a commentator. You never know.
But that was my thing. Do you really think he's going to take that kind of step backward, not necessarily, and go just be a defensive coach somewhere? Granted, he may have the acumen for it, but it's like one of those situations, and we talk about this a lot at Old School on Sunday where we're at when we do football, and we've been talking about coaches a lot. You always go back to, and I'm going to use your words against you, you always go back to the whole Josh McDaniels situation. Josh McDaniels was a head coach. Didn't work out for him well, so what did he do? He went back to what he knew. I don't really know if Rex Ryan, after all these years of being a head coach with the Jets and now with Buffalo, I don't know if he can kind of remove himself from that head coaching mentality to go back to being a defensive coordinator or being a DC somewhere.
You know, I think he can because this is a guy who, and there's been a lot of head coaches that were coordinators before, then went to head coach, then went back to being coordinators as well. So
Right.
for him, and Rex is a smart guy. If an opportunity comes along where it's a good situation where he can be a DC somewhere, I think he's going to take it. You got to look at it. Remember, when he was a head coach of the Jets and the Bills, it was more like a dog and pony show with him. You're going to get a circus no matter how bad his teams were.
Listen, he put butts in seats.
He did put butts in
Say
seats.
what you want about Rex Ryan, but the one thing he was great at was PR and marketing.
I think he knows that there's not going to be any really teams that are going to be coming knocking for him as a head coach. So if he's really wanting to stay in the NFL to coach, he'll take a DC job or any kind of assistant.
So Jacksonville won't reach out to him.
I don't see. I think Jacksonville wants to go a different direction.
LA won't reach out to him.
Hell no.
I mean, I'm asking these questions
No, because they're
these
sick.
guys right now need head coaches.
And to be honest with you, those two teams are sick of losing. So why would you go after a coach that's been losing the past?
Because
few
he puts butts in seats. Rex Ryan, if he does nothing else, he energizes that fan base.
I would say the probability of him landing the job in Jacksonville and in LA is probably slim to none.
All right.
Slim to
I
none.
mean,
even the Cleveland job is
well,
not Cleveland, but just those two jobs which are up for grabs right now. I don't see him being a head coach. I see him maybe going back as a defensive coordinator or at best being a commentator.
All right. So then let me ask you the question, and I know where you're going to go with this, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. Who replaces him? Who replaces Rex Ryan as head coach of the Buffalo Bills? Does the interim guy, Anthony Lynn, does he just step up and take over that job? Or do they possibly bring back Marone, a guy who exited 2 years ago? Then they had to replace him with Rex Ryan. Do they bring him back and maybe reconcile their differences there?
I would say Marone doesn't come back because the way he left the job was not really on the best of terms with him and the team itself. There are a lot of guys. I mean, this is an attractive job except for the fact that you have to play the Patriots twice a year.
But still, you're in that division.
Yeah, you're in that
and
division.
You could very easily, if you are able to find a way to, first and foremost, put a solid team together in Buffalo, which it looks like they have right now. Granted, the questionable health of Sammy Watkins is one thing, but both their offensive line and front four on the defense have become better. You just have to find a quarterback. You've got a solid running back in LaShawn McCoy, even though I want him to leave right now.
Well, and that's the thing. Would you? They might be considering trading him to get draft picks and maybe trading him to another team to get other players. Because,
Please come home.
Because
please,
you fired your coach.
Yep.
You're probably going to get rid of Tyrod.
Yeah.
So you're in a pretty much a retooling mode right now. So going in the next season, what the Bills have to look at, okay, what's going to be our identity for next year? And there's a list of coaches that they could go after. Now, I know I keep saying his name a lot, McDaniels, but I don't see him maybe interviewing for this job because I know himself. He is considering options right now, but playing the Patriots twice a year, not so much of an attractive job.
But in that division, and you've played on this team, you've been a coach on this team, so you have to figure that some of what you have done is going to stay
right
in New England. To play against that, why not kind of give yourself the upper hand and say, maybe I should go to Buffalo? The Jets are going to be in a disarray for the next 2 to 3 seasons until they get their stuff figured out, from the head coach to the quarterback to, depending on if they get any wide receivers, they've got to beef up their, Darrelle Reeves is pretty much done. And Miami right now on the up and coming, but they're still kind of finding themselves. Someone could take this Buffalo job, and they, excuse me,
You're welcome.
and they could actually be a force. I won't say a strong force against New England, but a force in the AFC to actually be relevant, more so than just their coach coming out on day one and saying, "Is this thing on? Oh, it's about to get turned up." I mean,
there's one guy I think that would be the best fit for that job is
who?
Kyle Shanahan,
Okay.
the offensive coordinator for Atlanta.
Yeah, he's having great success in Atlanta, so yeah.
I think he deserves a shot.
I agree.
At a head coaching job. I think he would be a good fit for them because they need a high-powered offense. Their defense isn't that bad.
No, it's not.
They've just got a terrible, terrible offense, and they need to go out and fight. They may have to even draft a quarterback right now. I mean, E.J. Manuel is certainly not the answer for that team.
Yeah, but if you're getting rid of Tyrod Taylor
Well, yeah,
you're deciding to keep E.J. Manuel,
Well,
do you really want to think that you're going to be able to find the next Dak Prescott in the rounds to come out and be the guy in Buffalo?
Well, here's the thing. Well, maybe if they bring in the likes of Kyle Shanahan might be like, okay, we're going to keep Tyrod Taylor in. We might keep him in because, honestly, he's not that bad of a quarterback.
No.
Okay? He just really has nothing to work around him. I mean, you just have LaShawn McCoy. Sammy Watkins has been hurt 90% of the season.
You're right.
So, the next guy coming in might say, we might not need a quarterback right now. Let's just stick with Tyrod. Let's see if my schemes can work better than the last guy. Like I think Rex Ryan is not enough. He's like the Jeff Fisher of the AFC.
Wow.
He's not really an offensive-minded coach. He's a defensive guy.
So you're saying he's done head coaching. You're saying that he will find a job as a DC
I say
somewhere.
Rex Ryan finds a job as a defensive coordinator.
And the Bills, depending on who now steps in as the head coach, that will depend on what happens with Tyrod Taylor.
Right. I would say Kyle Shanahan is my pick for this job.
Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle
is your
Shanahan.
pick. All right.
He's a good pick for this job.
I mean, listen, this is the one thing that I will say when it comes to Buffalo. Buffalo has finally started to pull themselves out of the muck. They've actually started to put pieces together. I personally feel like they are maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 key components on that offensive side of the ball to be, I know I use the word a lot, but to be relevant, to be a team that you're not going to just think you're going to roll over them. They are going to provide you with some type of, it's going to be a good game when you play the Bills. I mean, the acronym that I've used consistently, and everybody else has used it, is, boy, I love losing Super Bowls. That has been their mantra, especially during the Jim Kelly era, but they haven't been relevant since 99. So I am just looking at it and saying, as a whole, I feel like Buffalo needs maybe 2 to 3 to 4 pieces and a coach who actually has that winning mentality. We've always said this. Rex Ryan, he's afraid of success. He had it with Mr. Butt Fumble the first 2 years he was head coach. And then all of a sudden, it was like, wait a minute, I'm not used to all this. I can't handle all this success. And therefore, they just went downhill. So now he comes to Buffalo, staying in the same AFC East division. Got some key pieces in there. Picked up a guy like Richie Incognito, who's just a knucklehead, and that's me being nice. You got an injury-prone Sammy Watkins, who everybody thought Sammy was going to be the main guy, the main weapon in Buffalo. He wasn't it. Then they brought in a running back who can handle the rock in LaShawn McCoy. Sorry, I won't call him shady until he comes back to Philadelphia, which I hope he does. But so what I'm looking at right now is Buffalo, if Kyle Shanahan is to get that job, if he's to be that guy, I think Buffalo could prove to be formidable.
All right, so if you're Doug Whaley and you're the Pagula family, who do you go get as coach?
I mean, I don't really – I don't know.
Who do you have as the top 3 candidates for this job?
Well, I mean, of course, I'm always going to say if you can get him and if he's willing to leave his cushy job at CBS and you are okay with giving him what he wants, I'll always say Bill Cowher.
He'll never leave.
I know.
He's never going to come back to coaching.
You asked me. I'm saying if I am.
All right, well, take coaches that are now commentators in the league right now.
In the league right now,
who would you take?
You know who I'd take? I'd take Hugh Jackson. I think
take him out of Cleveland?
I would take him out of Cleveland. I would take Hugh Jackson out of Cleveland because what I know that man's capable of doing, I think he deserves to be with a team that just is not god-awful.
You know what? Cleveland's 2 or 3 years away from being good. With Hugh Jackson.
With Hugh Jackson?
With
yes.
Hugh Jackson. So
but right now,
I would leave him in Cleveland.
All right, fine. Then I would take your guy. I would take Shanahan.
And I'm only saying that because they won over the weekend and you picked them.
I did.
So
I did.
kudos to you.
Listen, I should have took your money.
You said, well, you didn't.
I know I should have. But what I'm saying to you is, I'll look at I'll give you two since I can't have Cowher. I'll look at if I can pull Hugh Jackson out of Cleveland or Kyle Shanahan with the success he's having in Atlanta.
No, Josh McDaniels.
No, Josh McDaniels. How many times you want me to say this? Josh McDaniels is going to stay where he is at.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere. If he does go somewhere, you know what? I wish him the best of luck because, quite honestly, he's not going to have the same success. As a head coach, Josh McDaniels is not going to have the same success as he has right now in New England.
Well, when he was in Denver, he had to work with Jay Cutler.
I don't care who he had to work with. You figure out a way to do it. If Adam Gase could make it work and figure out a way to get Jay Cutler off his backside to make him be productive.
John Fox can't do it, so there's only one guy that can work with Jay Cutler, and that's Adam Gase.
It's the chemistry.
Okay.
They had a relationship that worked with them. They had a relationship that made them go. When you find that quarterback head coach combination that works, you roll with it. This isn't the days of, Bill Parcells could take any quarterback and make him a great quarterback. You know what I'm saying? These days now, you have to find a combination. That's why I like Drew Brees and Sean Payton. Even though they're two guys who are, one is selfish and the other one, he must have something on the family, but whatever. As god-awful as they were this year. The Saints are just, I can't even tell you what to say about the Saints. Let's move on to next year. But, I've always been a fan of, and I'm going back to my day, I've always been a fan of McNabb and Andy Reid. They had such a chemistry that I was like, thank God we got something in place for years. We didn't win a ring, but when you saw the two of them together, you knew not only they liked each other, they respected each other, they knew their role, but more importantly, they actually gave a damn. You know what I'm saying? They actually cared about, each other in that way to where it was like you wanted to go out there and make sure that Donovan had the best plays. And on the flip side of that, Donovan wanted to go out there and make sure he performed for his coach. The coach took a chance on him. And I feel like that's going to happen with this next regime that's starting up in Philadelphia with Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz. They're going to have their moments of scuffling because that's what people do. They're going to argue. But at the end of the day, I feel like they're both on the same page. I like that transition. So, well, let's talk about the Monday night game. First off, can somebody please tell the referees that just because Dez Bryant ain't getting no touches doesn't mean you give him a touchdown just because he's in the end zone and did catch the ball, because I'm sorry, that was offensive pass interference with him on the cornerback.
Although, let's not get to the fact that you can't pick up a guy to tackle him anymore. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know what that was.
So what is he supposed to do? Tap him? Just
I have no
slap
idea.
him around? Come on.
He had him, and he turned, and, Zeke's a small dude. So what's he supposed to do? Just roll with him and then gently put him on the ground? I'm sorry, this is football.
That was one of the blatant missed calls I've seen all year. Even Gruden was like, that's terrible.
Right. When you're using that to call a foul, there is a problem. But the end result, unfortunately, Dallas winning.
Tell you what, though, man.
42-21.
Dallas is
doing – hold up.
They're scary, man.
Dallas is doing exactly what Dallas did back in the day. Dallas don't care what anybody say. They're going to punch you in the mouth, and when you get up, they're going to punch you again.
They were doing a lot of that on Monday.
Because Sean Lee went to his teammates after the first half and said, these guys are not going to beat us. The score was 21-21 at the half, and they carried that momentum all the way into the fourth quarter end of the game. They did not take their foot off the gas. This is one of the few times you were actually going to hear me say this. The Dallas Cowboys actually played the football that I am accustomed to, that I am used to, and that I expect to see. If you are getting your butt worked by another team and they run up the score on you, it's your fault.
I almost saw this as a heavyweight fight where it's almost like Mike Tyson was punching a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Because Scott Linehan was just doing just the crazy trick passes here. I mean, Dez was throwing touchdown passes to Jason Witten.
His first career touchdown pass. I mean, it was Dak to Dez to Jason Witten. I said, what?
Yeah, if they're doing this to Detroit in the regular season, I was honestly waiting for Romo to come out. But if they're doing this to the Detroit Lions in the regular season, think about when it comes to playoffs, where you have home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
I know. Listen, to get to the Super Bowl, you got to go through Jerry World. You got to go through Jerry World, and you got to go through Gillette. Listen, the media gods want Dallas, New England in the Super Bowl. That's what they want.
I'm going to backtrack on what I said a few weeks ago where I said Dak could be Rookie of the Year and Zeke could be maybe MVP. Flip that. I put Dak in the MVP conversation.
Really?
With that game he played last night.
Ooh,
Definitely.
Listen, this is
I would put him in the conversation.
This is a hard pill for me to swallow, but I'll agree with you. I had to choke that one, keep that one down a little bit, but
looked like you're almost having a heart attack.
I'm telling you, after what I saw last night against a team that I thought you knew what was at stake, you knew what was going on, and you still could not get the job done. I was expecting Detroit the second half to just come out and at least put something on the board. Something. They didn't put nothing on the board. Not 1 point.
It was at the second half watching that game, and Detroit just gave up.
It reminded me of the old Detroit Lions.
It did.
It reminded me of the Detroit Lions that we have seen in the past that has been, they ain't worth a damn. So I was just like, I was so upset.
Well, that was Zach Zenner was running all over them in the first half.
And then what happened to him?
Dallas made adjustments at halftime. That's what happened.
But you still got Golden Tate out there, and I'm like, all right, I expect to see something from these guys.
Yeah, don't remind me, because I had Golden Tate and Zeke going last night in my fantasy football championship, and since Golden Tate just pretty much did nothing.
Laid you a goose egg?
Pretty much did nothing all night. I was relying on Zeke the whole night, and Golden Tate did not win.
Wow. Hold on real quick. I got a phone call.
You got a phone call.
I think I know who this is. Hold on a second.
They need to call in the right number.
Hold on a second.
813-699-5353.
Hold on the level. Who we talking to? Hey, Ben. My brother. Hey, I need you to call in 813-699-5353. All right, man. That was our man Ben from the BS3 Sports Show. He's fitting to chime in here in a second. So I'm gonna get off Facebook real quick. If y'all want to hear the interview, y'all got to call in. Check us out. Spreaker.com. But, he's fitting to call in here in a second. But talking about Dallas, listen, man, they're scary. They're scary. They're going to be good. I'm telling you right now, I'm not worried. I'm not concerned about what's going to happen on Sunday. But moving forward past that, they're going to be good. And with this, we got our man Ben joining us from the BS3 Sports Show. Ben, man, Merry Christmas. How's your holiday?
It was good, man. Merry Christmas to you guys, too.
What's going on, Ben?
Hey, what's going on?
So, of course, we're talking – your ears must have been burning because we're talking about your team down there in Jerry World, and I have to admit, my brother, they look good, man. They look really, really good.
Yeah, man, I wasn't expecting this type of win, just to be honest. I thought it was going to be really close, which it was in the first half. But after the first half, the second half, they just beat them. They just beat them like they stole something. It was like Mike Tyson versus the Kid.
That's so funny. We said that exact same thing.
Ben, were you a little concerned in the first half when Zach Zenner was running all over you guys? White Lightning was just taking care of that business for Detroit.
Yeah, I was shook. I was really afraid. I heard of this guy, but I didn't really know who he was, and he was just torching us. I mean, just running up the middle too. It wasn't like he was doing anything creative or he was doing anything that like Zeke was doing, but he just really was tearing us up. So yeah, I was nervous. No doubt about that.
Well, I mean, listen, they ended the first half on a game that everybody was watching, and they ended tied up. You know what I'm saying? So basically, it was a 30-minute game of nothing to nothing, and Dallas just came out there and said, okay, we home. We got everything laid out here in front of us, but there's no reason for us to take our foot off the gas. And as I told the great L. Bushman, I said, and I'll say it again, I said I was only going to say it once, but for you, I'll say it again. This is the one time that I saw the Dallas Cowboys play football the way I'm used to it. If someone else starts beating you and you can't find a way to stop them, you deserve to have the board ran up on you.
Yeah, I agree. And this is the type of football that all of us in Dallas has been waiting to see, because we've been the team where it's 21-17, and we're like, okay, we're just going to back off, and we're going to let everything play out. And that's when the teams end up scoring again, and then it's the fourth quarter, and we have to score.
Right.
But you're right. They stuffed it down their throats, and they say, you're not going to stop us, and we're going to do trick plays, and we're going to do all these weird. We're going to do quarterback sneaks, and we're going to let them play freely, and that's exactly what happened.
Was there a deep down, Ben, where did you have maybe a little bit of hope that Romo might come in maybe the last minute or two of that game?
I was. Once it was 42-21, I'm like,
just put him in for a snap, for God's sake.
It's over with. It's over with. You can bring him in. He can nail down the ball, and it's not really that I want to see him get reps, but it's when it's just in any regular season game. When the team's up by 20, more than likely you're going to see the backup, and that's the situation that I was thinking was going to happen, because that's what happened to Zeke. They pulled Zeke out. They had Darren McFadden in there. I was loving to see Zeke get more closer to the record, which I don't know if that's going to happen now, but.
Well, listen.
I thought Romo was going to get in.
I really like the play calling on special teams where they had DMC on punt returns and kickoff returns. He looked like DMC of old the way he was running. So I'm really anxious to see how Scott Linehan's going to be playing calling in the playoffs with all these trick plays, and they're integrating guys that you haven't seen. I mean, I think Alfred Morris was even on there for a couple of plays or whatever. But I'm really interested in seeing what they kind of pull off in the playoffs with all that play calling they did last night.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how all that's going to work.
Listen, Ben, Zeke needs 178 yards.
Hey, he could do it against the Eagles. It's
on
okay.
Sunday to beat Eric Dickerson. He ain't getting 78 of them yards. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm just going to let you know.
Should I let you just let loose right now? Or
He's going to get 100.
I said he wouldn't get 78 of them. He might get 100, but he ain't getting the other 78. So I'm just going to let you know. I'm going to preface what I'm about to say to you with, I know we have not met. However, you seem like a cool cat. So I'm going to try for this brief moment to be nice, but I cannot promise you this. Here is what I'm going to say to you. And you know this better than anybody, being a Cowboys fan. Week 2 last year, you came into Philadelphia, and it was our home opener. And with Tony Romo at the helm, you embarrassed us. And even though we took Tony Romo and put him on the shelf for about 8 to 10 weeks, you still punked us. My brother, I have to tell you something.
it's going to happen again.
That game has been etched in my brain for over a year. I remember that game more than I remember pretty much any other game in Eagles history. Because to watch what your team did in our home opener against us, I have never in my life, that was the first time I think ever that I ever turned off or walked away from the television. That's how angry I was. And I wasn't even angry at the Cowboys. I was angry at I was angry at my team. So what I need you to know is I'm prepared
for a loss.
For Sunday. Would you shut up? This ain't about you. We'll get to you and what you need to have happen with your Buccaneers in a minute. Excuse us. I'm talking to Ben here. BS3 Sports Show and whole nother level. Anyhow, like I was saying, we have remembered and we have not forgotten what you did to us. So when you come to town on Sunday, please understand that even though you got everything in front of you, the road to the Super Bowl has to go through you. You still got one team left to play. And I don't wish injury on anybody. But I am going to let you know, if you guys put Tony Romo out there on Sunday, Tony Romo going to be finished. And y'all better hope Mark Sanchez can be your backup going into the postseason. Don't bring him on the field. We want Dak again. We want Zeke again. Because what we realize is this, and I'm going to use the old adage that I have used pretty much my entire life. Right now, Dallas is the man. And to be the man, my brother, woo, you got to beat the man. We want Dallas. And we're playing for nothing. Nothing but pride. Nothing but to hold our head high to say, you know what? You got us this year. But we're going to let y'all know. Come next year, and it starts January 1st, 2017. Get your popcorn ready. Dallas is getting their ass whooped in Philadelphia.
Ben, do you have a rebuttal to that?
I do. I do. One thing to respond to what you said, you don't have to worry about Romo playing because his main goal is to sit on the bench with a headset on. He'll probably have a Cowboys blanket on his legs. You'll be that like old person that sits over in the corner. So you don't have to worry about Romo getting in. But Dak is going to tear her up. Zeke may get to 178. He may get 179 because he's hungry. He's hungry, and every game he eats. He doesn't just do that just for fun. He eats. He eats up defenses, and that's what's gonna happen. So I'm speaking. He's gonna get the record. I'm just gonna go and say that now.
And Zeke will not get the record in Philadelphia on Sunday. Y'all are not starting off my New Year's this way. I'm letting you know. I'm expecting a great game. I'm expecting a great game because last time we played y'all, we took y'all to overtime. And granted, y'all got the better of us. Great. Congratulations. Y'all are 13-2. 13-2. You know what that means? That means everybody in the NFL y'all can beat except for the Giants, which I don't understand why. But you going to be 13-3. That's going to be your final record. Now, when y'all get to the postseason, oh, believe me, I'm fighting against y'all every single chance I get because I don't like the Dallas Cowboys. But I will at least respect the fact to know that, you know what, this year, 2016, it's Dallas's time. Y'all better get it done. I don't see it happening, but y'all better get it done. So, my brother, it's always great talking to you. Go ahead.
Position.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, we're in a prime position that we haven't been in since since those Super Bowl runs. I'm not even the 2 years ago, 2014. I'm not even counting that one because that doesn't even compare, I don't think, to this year. So we got a prime opportunity that we got to capitalize on.
Bring your aggressiveness, bring your smash mouth style of football, and please bring everything you got on Sunday because that's what I want. And believe me, if we mess up and we screw up and we wet the bed, listen, I'll be man enough to admit you got the better of us. I just don't see it, though. Because every time I think about this game, the only thing that goes through my head is 20-10. And even though, like I said, we took him out, y'all still kicked our ass, man. I got to be real. So I want Dallas at their best. I want Dez all day. I want Terrence Williams. I want Cole Beasley. I want Jason Witten. I want Zeke to try and run up the middle. I want your defense with Sean Lee. Sean Lee, who graduated from Penn State. Homeboy coming back. I want Sean Lee to bring that defensive squad against my offense. Because, see, my offensive line, we got something for y'all. We ready for y'all this time. We ready.
Let's go.
All right, my man, great talking to you, man. Happy New Year to you. I'm sure we'll talk to you next week, as always. But, as always, it's my man, Ben. He's on the BS3 Sports Show, 1 p.m. Central Time. You can check him out on Spreaker.com. I want to wish you a Happy New Year, and I'm only doing it because, out of love and respect. But, January 1st, man, my new year, it's going to be a long year for me if we lose to y'all. But I don't see it that way. I don't. I really don't.
Happy New Year to y'all, too. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime, man. We'll talk to you soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're going to take a break. When we come back, since the great Al Bushman wants to kind of dig into me, we're going to talk about his Fire the Cannon Buccaneers.
It wasn't Fire the Cannons this past weekend.
They need a hope, a wish, and a prayer.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that when we come back. You're listening to us, Whole Nother Level, right here at Spreaker.com, Raw Talk Online, YouTube, iTunes, and as always, the replay, www.hnl3.com, live from Cowork, Florida. We'll be right back. Whole Nother Level right here at Cowork, Florida, every Tuesday where we're at from 6 to 7:30. 813-699-5353 is the number to call and chime in and give us your thought and opinion. Big shout out to our man Ben from the BS3 Sports Show, 1 p.m. Central Time on Spreaker.com. You can listen to him. He is one of the few Cowboys fans that I actually do like. But Whole Nother Level, your man Eric along with the great Al Bushman, and we're going to keep the show going here. So
Yes.
he started it. I'm going to be the one to finish it.
Yeah.
You did this.
I know.
So, will Tampa Bay, will they snag the 6th seed in the playoffs?
Well, here's the deal about that. It's going to take a lot.
Oh, yes. And let me read to you what it's going to take.
Oh, I'm reading it right now, and I didn't know that we have to rely on 2 AFC teams to get into as well because of the strength of victories.
Not only do you have to deal with 2 AFC teams, okay?
I got to rely on your Philadelphia Eagles to win.
No, lose.
Oh, lose. That's right. I'm sorry. Yeah, lose.
First off, you got to beat Carolina. That's the first and foremost.
You know what? I'm a little nervous because we were supposed to get it done against New Orleans, and we couldn't get that. So
Right.
we have to rely on the Packers losing.
Yep.
We have to rely on the Texans, the Colts, your Eagles, and the Seahawks.
All to lose.
All to lose.
And then, if that wasn't enough, the Redskins and the Giants
have to tie.
have to tie.
So the probability of them getting the 6th seed, is if you make your bets today and you've maybe sold your soul to the devil, I don't think it's going to happen.
I mean, first off, you have to beat the Panthers, which I'll give you the nod there and say, yeah, you'll beat the Panthers. It's the last game of the regular season. You're at home. I expect the crowd to be in full force. I expect them all to go to church on Sunday before they go to the game. You need the Lions to beat the Packers. And if the Lions showed up like they didn't show up against the Cowboys last night,
Yep.
that's not going to happen. 49ers beating the Seahawks. The Seahawks are really playing for nothing. However, the Seahawks are trying to get that number 2 slot.
Yep.
And it's against the 49ers.
I know. And here's the thing with me. I think after this loss on Sunday, which should have been a win, even though they played sloppy, I've come to terms with if they don't make the playoffs. I'm happy with this season because they improved on last year. They looked good. So going in the next season, I'm excited. But I know there's going to be a lot of Bucs fans. Oh, well, they suck because they didn't make the playoffs. Well, would you rather have a 6-10 team or either a 9-7 or an 8-8 team?
Yeah. I mean,
Honestly.
no, I agree with you. But knowing what was at stake last week, knowing what was in front of you, knowing what had to be done, Bucs didn't do it. So now you have to rely on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 teams.
8 teams.
To basically do the improbable. I won't say it's out of the realm of possibility.
Hey, any given Sunday, man.
Any given Sunday.
Any given Sunday. That's what I'd always say.
But now looking at these games, honestly, Titans don't have Marcus Mariota, and Tom Savage is playing like he wants this job.
Honestly, it's his job to lose because, really, you benched Osweiler.
You did.
For a good reason. Honestly, this could be the era of Tom Savage because this is his job to lose now. Because do you really think they're going to go back to Osweiler? Probably not.
Nope.
So I would see, and we don't really know what we're going to get out of Tom Savage this week anyways because we've only seen him one time. So you never know.
Listen, okay.
But I'm expecting a loss.
All right. So then you've got the Lions who need to win the NFC North crown.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the Packers need the same thing.
Right.
So it's like that game could end in a tie.
The only game I'm see the Jags Colts game.
Yeah.
That's a win for the Colts.
You think so?
Yeah.
Even though Jacksonville, they lost Gus Bradley, they won their game last week.
Yeah, but that was this past week.
Okay.
So it's not going to happen 2 weeks in a row.
But neither one of these teams are playing for anything. Andrew Luck has gone on record as saying, I feel like I let my team down because we didn't get where we were supposed to be. So he's brunting the weight
No,
of this organization.
I just don't see it.
You don't think he's going to try and do too much this week against Jacksonville?
I don't see. I just don't see it. And then the Lions beating the Packers. Sorry, Steve, but the Lions are not going to beat the Pack. I mean, they should beat. I mean, so Packs. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Lions are going to beat them. I just don't.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but there's no firing of the cannons this week.
All I'm saying to you is, first and foremost, you have to win. And then you have to hope and pray.
Yeah, that's the first thing we need to happen.
That the rest of this stuff happens. Now, I've said it, and I'll continually say, I don't see the Eagles beating the Cowboys.
What?
I don't see it.
What?
I mean, I don't see the Cowboys beating the Eagles. Sorry.
What?
Sorry. I don't see the Cowboys beating the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
Let me rephrase that. I had a monetary moment.
Did you have a stroke?
No.
Okay.
Let me check.
Okay.
No, I'm still good.
Okay.
But what I'm saying to you is there's a lot. But you're okay with it. So if you're okay with it, then
okay with it.
All right. If you're okay with it, then you know what? Let's keep it going.
Okay.
Here's the thing about the number 2 seed in the NFC, because the Falcons, the Seahawks, right now are kind of even. The Falcons are 10-5, Seahawks are 9-5-1. All right. Atlanta right now holds the number 2 seed. And all they have to do is win against the Saints. Once they do that, they're in. However, if the Saints decide to play spoiler and make Atlanta drop, Seahawks, they got to beat the 49ers. Now, we're all expecting them to just beat them. However, any given Sunday is possible. Now, should both the Falcons and the Seahawks lose, as long as Green Bay beats Detroit, Atlanta still gets the number 2 seed. If Atlanta and Seattle fall and Detroit beats the Packers, then Detroit gets the number 2 seed and a first-round bye.
Which they would need to go into this playoffs. They would need that first-round bye.
I agree with you. And then I'm stopping there because it's just too much at that point. But let's talk about the flip side of the AFC. How far is Matt McGloin going to take this team?
And that's a tough call because we all thought on this show with Derek Carr that the Raiders would have a shot at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. We knew they were going at least to the AFC Championship game.
Right. I don't know, man. Matt McGloin, an undrafted quarterback out of Penn State in 2013, who is his first NFL snap was this past weekend?
Yeah.
I don't know. My money, and sorry, Carl, and I think maybe Carl will agree with us. Oakland is now maybe falling into that, maybe out in the first round.
Well, here's the thing. If they win this Sunday,
they'll get a first-round bye.
They'll get a first-round bye.
So,
so then they would only have to win one game to get to the conference championship.
I don't have my money on them anymore.
Okay.
I would rather, out of that division, Chiefs. Chiefs now.
You're saying the Chiefs.
I would say the Chiefs now.
The Chiefs are going to take the number 2 slot.
Yep.
Then Oakland would fall to the 6th spot.
Yep.
And then they would have to face the number 3 seed,
which is Pittsburgh.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So if they have to win this
yeah.
week. So and if they lose and you have to play the steel curtain, I don't see it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Carl.
No, I mean, listen, we're going to talk more about this on Sunday, where we're at every Sunday. In the new year, we're going to start off our new year with a show that you folks do not want to miss. So if you are in anywhere from St. Pete to Port Charlotte, y'all need to get the old school. I know it's January 1st. I know everybody's going to be out New Year's Eve, but this is a show you do not want to miss because we are going to give you every single game. Some of these games, they don't mean anything, but the implications for other teams are proven to be so pivotal. This is why Week 17 is the most important week in football. It is divisional weekend. And we are going to break down these games for you, give you our picks, but we're also going to let you know, listen, we're setting you up for the playoffs. And these wild card teams, don't sleep on them, because what could happen, wild card weekend, January 7th and 8th, are going to be so crucial. I can't begin to stress enough the importance of coming and checking us out at Old School, 1991 Main Street, downtown Sarasota, right next to the Hollywood 20. Whole nother level, 11:30 till the start of the games, because every game is going to matter. Every single game is going to matter. Great L. Bushman, looking at the 12 teams right now that are in the postseason, if the playoffs were to start today, I want you to give me, matter of fact, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want you to give me your AFC Championship game and your NFC Championship game. You're listening to us, Whole Nother Level, again, Spreaker.com, Raw Talk Online, www.hnl3.com is the replay, iTunes, YouTube, 813-699-5353 is the number. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Whole Nother Level right here at Co-Work, Florida. Your man Eric alongside the great L. Bushman. All right, before we went to break, L. Bushman, I gave you some time to think about this, and I want to hear from our fans. 813-699-5353 is the number. So, all right, great L. Bushman.
I'm excited. I love quiz time.
In the AFC,
Yes.
who are your final two?
My final two, Patriots, Steelers.
In the AFC Championship
In the
game.
AFC Championship. I was going to say Patriots, Raiders, but without the absence of Derek Carr, I just don't see it.
All right.
And Pittsburgh is just, man, you got the three Bs, man. Brown, Bell, and Ben.
Big Ben.
And Big Ben just tearing it up. So I've got those two, and that's always a good matchup I want to see. But you know what? I mean, don't sleep on the Chiefs or Dolphins, but I got Pats and Steelers.
I thought you were going to go Chiefs, but okay.
No, I've got Steelers.
All right. So then flip it. And then the NFC.
All right.
Your NFC Conference Championship game. Who you got?
I have Cowboys and Packers.
Cowboys and Packers.
Cowboys and Packers.
You know what they say, don't sleep on them road teams.
No.
So do you think that Aaron Rodgers can go into Jerry World and beat Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys?
No.
No.
Green Bay is so bad on defense, and the way Dak and Zeke have been carving up opposing defenses, and we saw it last night with Lanahan's play calling. I said this to Ben earlier, that I am really interested in seeing the play calling they do when they get into the playoffs. If they're doing what they did last night, it's going to be exciting. And this reminds me now of the Cowboys back in the 90s with Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman.
I'm not there to put them there yet.
I am there.
That's fine.
And
I can't.
Remember, I was sold on them at the beginning of the season.
You were sold on Dak from jump.
From the get-go.
From jump.
I was on the gravy train.
Yes, you were. And you have ridden that all the way into – and you're going to ride it all the way into the postseason. I'm going to ride it all the way into
the postseason.
No, listen, that's fine. I'm not there to say that Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Des Bryant –
what's stopping you?
Have the reputation or to be put in the same breath as Aikman, Smith, and Irvin, because here is the thing about that.
Well, no, I'm saying that they're not in the hierarchy just yet. I'm saying they remind me of those guys. I'm not saying they're up there just yet.
All right, fair.
They're in the
fine.
They look like them, like that team was exciting back in the 90s.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. This Dallas team. Why am I giving them so much love right now?
I don't know. And we've got a Taylor Maville who's chimed in on my Facebook Live feed. He goes, "We have already pimp-slapped the pack once." This is very true. And he says, "And this is what you get for doing a show with a bunch of Giants and Eagles fans." He's a Cowboys fan, by the way.
Call in. Feel free to call in. 813-699-5353.
All right, so let me ask you, Eric. Okay, your final two for the AFC Championship. Who do you have?
Oh. Wow.
Hard one, isn't it?
It's difficult because I was very much sold on Oakland.
I think everybody was sold on Oakland until the injury happened. Everybody, I think, maybe had the Pats and the Raiders going.
Yeah. I mean, I've got New England.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take the Chiefs.
Okay.
I've seen Andy Reid be successful in the postseason. It takes him a couple times once he gets to the postseason.
Well, as long as he can manage the clock well, I think they might do okay.
Exactly. But what I saw against the Denver Broncos Sunday night, Christmas night, what I saw Alex Smith and Travis Kelce do to that Denver defense, I got to say they have officially, for me, they have become a team that we definitely need to keep our eye on.
I'm going to agree with you on that. The way, man, they just dismantled Denver. Mm-hmm. I mean, going in the next season, I think Denver maybe needs to make a call to Dallas and be like, hey, I think we want to get Romo over here for maybe 2 seasons and maybe kind of do what we did with Peyton.
But here's the thing. It doesn't matter. You've got Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders can't catch the damn ball. So it don't matter. They got to get some wide receivers in there who are going to step up, not just show up in the postseason, because Denver ain't even in the postseason.
So NFC, who do you got?
I'm saying, oh, man.
Is it paying you to say Cowboys?
Yes, it is. Because here's what I feel like. I feel like if the Giants should meet the Cowboys one more time, Giants have their number.
Yeah, but it's really hard to beat a team 4 times in a row.
3 times in a row.
3 times in a row.
Thank you, Frank. I get that.
Especially now in the playoffs.
But they're a road team. Giants are a road team. They did it before. So that's why I can't sleep on them. If they're not a divisional winner. They're a road team. And at 9-7, they slide in. And wild card, they just roll over people. See, this is where the Giants become scary. So I want to pick the Giants and say they're going to find a way to beat the Cowboys for the 3rd time this year. It's difficult after seeing what we saw last night and what Dallas was able to do to, in my opinion, a true momentum just got snuffed in the second half in the Detroit Lions. So for that argument, I'll give it to Dallas.
I think you almost threw up in your mouth.
I've had to hold it down for a couple of times this whole show. I'll give it to Dallas, and I will say to you, I'll say Dallas, Seattle.
Wow, really? And the way Seattle's is playing?
Seattle's been up and down, but you know what? At key pivotal moments, they've been on game. They've been on point. And the 2 teams that are scary in the postseason to me are the Giants and the Seahawks. I see those 2 teams kind of just. It's Seattle. It's Pete Carroll.
I honestly think one team that maybe people should look out for is Atlanta.
I can't do it yet.
Not yet. I know you were discussing that with Nick at lunch.
They got to get out of the divisional round. They have to get to the championship game. If they get to the championship game, my opinion of the Atlanta Falcons will change. However, even at 10-5 right now, they've still got to go play New Orleans. They could finish 10-6. They could be out of the number 2 seed. If they handle their business, my opinion will change, because I'm still saying to you, Tevin Coleman and Freeman and Taylor Gabriel, who stepped up, Julio Jones, one of the top 3 wide receivers in the league, Mohamed Sanu, all the weapons in the world. I will always go back to Matt Ryan and say, if you can't consistently be Matty Ice.
He hasn't been consistent all season?
He has been this season.
Okay.
But I want to know what you do in the postseason.
Okay.
To me, the Atlanta Falcons are the Cincinnati Bengals of the NFC. You're great in the regular season, but when you get to the postseason, y'all don't show up. And I'm just like, I can't get myself around that. So that's why I'm saying to you, Seahawks against Jerry World.
Interesting.
I don't know if it's going to happen. But now, listen, if it should come to fruition that Green Bay and New England make it to the Super Bowl, boy,
I can't wait.
Y'all just going to have to come to old school, because what we are going to put on that day with a packed house for the Packers, Patriots, it's going to be, I hate to use a word, but I love saying it, to quote one of my favorite actors, Mr. NPH, as Barney Stinson, it's going to be legend, wait for it, dairy. That game is going to be legendary. It really is. Because for the Vince Lombardi Trophy.
You know, we should put that on the flyer. It's going to be legendary.
Oh, it's going. Oh, yeah.
I think we should do that.
We can do that. We can do that. Oh my goodness! All right, so we got a couple more minutes left and every once in a while we touch on college. There are a lot of college bowl games coming up.
There's a ton.
I know.
A ton.
But there's a couple that I want to, more importantly, talk to you about.
Okay.
I heard someone say today, and I saw your expression when they said it. Talk to me about Michigan, Florida State. Because I heard somebody say today that Florida State ain't no good. And that Michigan's just going to stomp the dog snot out of them. You being a Florida State guy, I got to hear from you.
They're right on half because Florida State is bad on defense. Offensively, they're awesome, and they're tremendous. It's going to be going into this game is going to be a real good test in how Jimbo Fisher really adjusts to Michigan's offense. I mean, they're playing in a home environment. They're playing in Florida, of course,
right
down at the Orange Bowl. I'm hoping for a good game. I mean, Dalvin Cook, who has been, I think, should have been a nominee for the Heisman Trophy this year, who was snubbed. Francois as well. I would say they are half right because Florida State's defense is probably one of the worst in the country right now.
All right.
One of the worst. I expect a high-scoring game out of these two teams. High scoring.
Even with Michigan's defense, you're still saying it's going to be a high-scoring game on both sides.
Because Florida State can get it done on the offense. You just give Dalvin Cook the ball and just let him run.
All right.
Just give him the ball.
Okay. All right. So let's look at the 4 games that are happening Friday and Saturday. First up is, the Fiesta Bowl, which is Ohio State, Clemson. Who do you think's coming out of this game?
I'm going with Dabo Swinney on this. I'm going with Clemson, only because Ohio State, I hate Ohio State. I hate everything about Ohio State. Kristen is on the show with us, but sorry, Kristen, I hate Ohio State. I thought Clemson's going to beat them. They cheat. Ohio State cheats. We saw it in the Michigan game. They cheat so much. I got Dabo and the Tigers.
Okay. I can't argue anything you just said, so we're going to move on to the next game because I feel the exact same way. You just said it for me. So, does Washington, what percentage are you giving Washington to beat Alabama?
45%.
That's it.
That's actually a tall order, 45%.
Yeah, but you're still giving the edge to Alabama.
I'm giving the edge to Alabama because it's Alabama, and we see what they can do to top teams per year. Now, Washington's no slouch. Their offense is one of the top in the country right now. If there's any team that could figure out Alabama, I think Washington could. I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe see an upset with Washington beating Alabama, but I'm going with Alabama in this game.
I was going to say, are you bold enough to make that prediction?
I'm not bold enough just yet. But because my pick for the national title game is going to be, which I'm going to be going to, by the way.
Yes, I know.
Security will be Alabama Clemson.
You're going to have a busy week, you know that?
I will have a tremendous busy week.
I mean, because Sunday we're going to do the show, which is going to be Wild Card Weekend.
Yes.
And then Monday is the national championship game.
Well, that's the 9th.
Oh, Tuesday.
That's the week after.
Oh, so we're not doing a show. We're going to be off that day.
Yes.
No, wait.
No, the game is on Monday.
The 9th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Monday.
So Sunday we're doing a show, which is Wild Card Weekend.
So when we do the show the day after the 10th, I'll have a lot of stuff to cover for that game.
That's going to be a.
Because I'll be doing the Facebook Live from the. I mean, I probably shouldn't, but I will.
That's going to be a tall order. Great L. Bushman's got his work cut out for him.
I do.
That's how we're doing it in 2017. We never settle, man. We're going to hustle. That's what we do.
So let me ask you.
Sure.
Your picks.
Well, I already told you Clemson, just because, like you, I can't stand Ohio State.
So out of Alabama and Washington.
I'll take that bold prediction and say, since you're giving them a 45% chance, you know what? I say Washington, somehow, some way, finds to do the unthinkable, what no team has done this year, and that is beat Alabama, beat Nick Saban, because it's going to happen. You are going to figure Alabama out eventually. But on this stage, I'm going to side with the underdog here.
I'm excited for this weekend because there's so much going on. You've got bowl games all week.
Yep.
The real good bowl games start tomorrow.
Yeah.
UFC 207 on Friday.
Yep.
Then you got more football on Saturday. You've got it's the Final Four on Saturday. You've got football on Sunday, and then Monday starts it all over again.
Yeah.
And then the week after that, you've got the national championship coming up. You've got the NFC. I can't wait.
Yeah, these next 10, 11, 12 days, 2 weeks, I would say probably.
It's gonna be a packed house.
It's going to be ridiculous. Folks, make sure you get down to Old School, 1991 Main Street, downtown Sarasota. We want to thank our man Ben for chiming in. Great show as always. Shout out to our man Craig, Frank, and Dwayne for out on assignment, and our girl Kristen, who we will see January 1st. So until next year, this has been a great year, and we've taken you to a whole nother level. We'll see you next time.
Gee, mate, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.